We start off with NXT. NXT starts off with a fatal four-way match between Eddie Thorpe, Ethan Page, Wesley, and Lexis King. Number one contendership match for the North American Championship. Winner goes to Stand and Deliver and face Ricky Saints. This match was really just made up last minute due to last week. This match really shouldn't even be a match. The match should have always just been Ethan Page versus Ricky Saints, which ended up happening because Ethan Page picks up the victory. Not gonna really go that in depth. After the match, you know, getting Ethan Page getting attacked by Ricky Saints due to Ethan Page was able to get Ricky Saints kicked out. Kicked out during the match because Ricky Saints was watching, but he was able to get the referee to kick Ricky Saints out. So Ricky Saints ends up attacking him after the match. I'm excited for the match. I'm hoping this is a continuation of the feud after the match because I think they could really tell a decent story and continue to have good segments and good promo segments with each other if they continue to feud. So I hope this isn't the only match they do. I hope they continue this feud and continue pushing this. But Ethan Page goes to Stand and Deliver as he should because this match never made sense in the first place because it never made sense for Wesley, Lexis, and Eddie Thorpe. All of them all of a sudden are interested in the North American Championship all of a sudden. So, but nonetheless, Ethan Page and Ricky Saints is the North American Championship match at Stand and Deliver, and I can't wait to see how that match plays out. Afterwards, we end up getting Lola Vice versus Tatum Paxley. This match was a qualifying match to determine who will go to this for who will be in the match for the women's North American Championship for the women's ladder match. Lola Vice picks up the victory. It was a decent match. I was very confused on why Tatum Paxley was in this position. You guys know how I feel about Tatum Paxley. She's very underutilized, but to be fair, I didn't expect her to win anyway due to her booking. Plus, she's been mainly in the tag division on TNA. She's been fighting for the TNA tag team titles. So it only makes sense for Lola Vice to win. I was just very shocked that she was even on the show, to be honest. But they needed someone who could take an L, so Tatum Paxley was that. Lola Vice is going to be in the match, which I did also predict. I'm like, it wouldn't have made no sense for Lola Vice not to be in that match due to her being one of your more popular women on NXT. So it makes sense for Lola Vice to pick up the victory, and she'll be in the NXT Women's North American Championship ladder match at Stand and Deliver. Now we get another, not a qualifying match, number one contendership match. We end up getting a tag team gauntlet match between No Quarter Catch Crew, Josh Briggs and Inamura, I think that's his name, Hank and Tank, Tyson, Tariq, and there was one more tag team if I'm not mistaken. I can't think of the other tag team that was in the match. I may be forgetting, but Hank and Tank picks up the victory as I predicted. I feel like it was the calling was in the match. Yeah. Hank and Tank was the obvious choice here. NXT, mainly Shawn Michaels, has been really pushing this tag team for a while now. And they're going to be the ones to face Fraxon at Stand and Deliver. I don't care. Like, the tag division is so trash. Fraxon is literally carrying that division, so it's like, I really don't care. And Hank and Tank, they're not a bad team. They're not horrible. They're all right, but I just don't get it, to be honest with you. Plus, I think No Quarter Catch Crew should have won this match. I find them more entertaining, not just from an in-ring perspective, but I think they also have more potential as characters with Charlie Dempsey and Ren Sinclair. But they went with Hank and Tank, which was the obvious choice due to how they've been booked. I don't understand the hype that Shawn Michaels sees in Hank and Tank, but who knows? I could be proven wrong. But the match itself at Stand and Deliver should be a great match, and Hank and Tank potentially could be your new NXT champions. We'll see how that plays out. We end up getting one of the more interesting things on the show. We end up getting Dark State and the family having an incredible brawl. This was one of the best brawls I have seen in a while. I really enjoyed this brawl. This brawl was everything it needed to be. This brawl was very chaotic, fast-paced. I love what they did here. This was great. They was fighting all over backstage, man. This was great. They started off in the outside. They started off with Channing Stacks was making a call. The family was concerned because they was like, did Tony D'Angelo sign off on this? But Channing ended up saying that, look, he's the underboss, that he don't need the approval, that they should just go ahead and attack. So they ended up attacking. It was looking good for the family at first, but then towards the end, Dark State started overpowering them due to one of the members ended up getting a fire extinguisher, and they end up spraying them, and then they end up getting the upper hand. But then Tony D'Angelo pulls up, and he ends up making the save. After he ends up making the save, you end up getting a heated discussion between Tony and Channing. Tony ended up saying that basically he's the leader, that he shouldn't have done what he did, and that he doesn't he should never question his leadership ever again. And then they hug it out, but it's very obvious that Channing Stacks didn't like the way that Tony D'Angelo was treating him in this segment. And it's very obvious that, of course, they're eventually leading into a heel turn. Whether or not that happens at Stand and Deliver, who knows? Because it is official that it's going to be the family versus the Dark State at Stand and Deliver, which should be a great match. And I'm excited to see how that plays out and how that unfolds. So I'm very interested to see how that plays out. We end up getting a major return. We end up getting Thea Hale. She ends up returning, and she ends up getting a qualifying match to be in the Women's North American Championship ladder match. And she ends up facing, who did she face? Oh my God, I cannot remember who did she face. I honestly cannot remember who did she face. I honestly cannot remember. Oh my gosh, she faced somebody. I honestly, Carmen Petrovich, I think that's her. Yeah, it was Carmen Petrovich. That's who she faced. She ends up facing Carmen Petrovich. That's who she ends up facing. She picks up the victory. I'm interested to see her return. I'm very shocked that she returned in this manner. I assumed that she would have returned probably after Stand and Deliver, but because I don't know if she will win the ladder match. It's possible for her to win, but I just wouldn't do it personally. But who knows? But I'm excited to see her back because Thea Hill is very entertaining with the gimmick that she is portrayed. Interested to see the Chase and Thea Hill dynamic because I've been saying that the Andre Chase storyline is boring. You need Thea Hill and all of them to come back to make it work. But without Duke Hudson, I don't know how entertaining that story will be without all the original members of Chase U. But we'll see how this plays out, and we'll see how Thea Hill holds up in the Women's North American Championship ladder match. Now we get the main event. We end up getting the face-to-face promo between Jevon, Oba, Trick Williams. Not going to really go that in-depth on this. The main thing was basically the story that they've been telling is that Oba and Trick going back and forth, and you get Jevon Evans in the middle being the ultimate underdog. The segment ends up ending with Jevon Evans ends up hitting a cutter onto Trick Williams and Oba Femby, standing tall. He ends up holding both, well, not both. He ends up holding an NXT championship, and that's how we close the show. This show overall was fine. It was a decent show, nothing major. Jevon Evans holding the championship. It would be cool to see if he actually could dethrone Oba Femby. I just don't see it. Maybe in a few more months, maybe a year, but not now. But it would be a cool image to see him actually win at Stand and Deliver, but I highly doubt it. But overall, this was a decent show. You guys let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know, or you guys watching Stand and Deliver, let me know your excitement level, how you feel about Stand and Deliver. But leave your comments down below. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. But yeah, that's it.